In this edition of Fifth Gear, we're looking at the science of car jumps and trying to set a new world record. Plus, there's a look at the new Land Rover Discovery. But first, here's Vicky.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Minnie, happy birthday to you. The Mini is 45 years old this year, and it's had so many commemorative birthdays that we all know its story backwards. We all know that it was a genius piece of packaging that came out of the oil crisis, and we all know that it was slow to sell at first. We know how they were given to journalists and thus appeared at every big event. And we know how superstars like Steve McQueen, Peter Sellers and the Beatles eventually became owners, making the Mini cool. But what we want to know is, you've guessed it, what's the ultimate Mini? Well, we've carried out a countrywide search, looking at the most modified, the fastest, the most manoeuvrable, and the one that's been bought by a millionaire collector for £60,000.
We're looking at car jumps, the art of making a car fly through the air. Doing a successful leap is partly down to trial and error, but there is also science involved, although sometimes you wouldn't believe it. So, to demonstrate that science, I'm going to do a few jumps of my own. Nothing too grand, just a typical movie stunt. I've got an old Ford Mondeo, I've got the ramps, and I've got a doctor of mathematics to do the sums for me. It's a bit complex to me. Mark, what are the most important things about the science of car jumps?
Well, there are two most important factors: the takeoff speed. The faster you go, the farther you'll travel.
Yeah, understand that.
And the ramp angle. The higher the ramp angle, up to 45 degrees, the further the car will go. And at 45 degrees, the car will go the maximum distance.
Well, that's it then. So I just go flat out, 45 degrees, and that's as far as I'll get.
Well, it's not quite as simple as that, unfortunately. When a car hits a ramp of 45 degrees, there's going to be tremendous compression on the suspension. And in practice, it's much better to have a smaller angle, in which case to travel the same distance, you need to go a lot faster.
Right, so flatten out a bit, go faster. That's it then.
Well, unfortunately, that's still not all there is to it. We need to include air resistance in any calculation of this type. When a large body travels through the air, there's going to be a big drag factor, and so we need a much more complicated equation to model the system and to calculate how far the car will go.
OK, well, I won't get to that because you've lost me now, but we know that my ramp angle is 11 degrees. I need to jump 7 metres, so all I want to know is how fast do I have to go?
Well, we can do that. We can solve this equation numerically on a computer, and if we do that, we find that you'll need to travel at about 32 miles an hour.
32 miles an hour. That's it. Forget all that. 32 miles. Thank you very much. Second gear, 32 miles an hour. Now, I know I liked maths at school, but I never quite wanted to have to believe in maths as much as this. And I'm not so sure he's right at all. Yeah, I can't see anything. I believe in maths. In fact, I enjoyed it so much, I think I'll do it again. And again! Now we want to test that science out in a world record attempt. And to make it even more difficult to calculate what's going to happen, the record we've chosen doesn't just involve jumping a car. No, that would be far too easy. We're going to attempt our jump towing this. Yes, we're going to try and beat the world record for jumping a car while towing a caravan. One set at 157 feet and 6 inches. Our BMW 530 may still have plenty of grunt, but we've had to make some serious safety modifications. To start with, it's been fitted with a reassuringly thick roll cage and a plate to stop the tow bar spearing the cabin. There's a Macrylon windscreen and a stunt-prepared petrol tank and battery. But what about our 1979 Thompson Glen Caravan? Well, due to strict world record regulations, it has to remain pretty standard. All we've done is fit some new tyres and a stabiliser bar. Now, the main difference between towing a caravan and doing the jump with the car on its own is the increase in wind resistance. This BMW has a drag coefficient of 0.31, but the caravan behind it acts like a parachute, dragging it back and almost doubling that figure to about 0.6. Then there's the danger of the caravan kicking the rear of the car upwards as it leaves the ramp, causing the front to jackknife down and possibly somersault forwards. So the exact landing position is very difficult to predict. Which is why, for the caravan towing record, the landing site is made up of a huge car park of scrapped cars. And to make sure it's soft enough, there are 2 layers of them, sitting on a bed of 200 tyres. To launch the car and caravan, we need a massive ramp, and movie stunt specialists, Bicker's Action, spent 2 days constructing one. Weighing 24 tonnes, it's 80 feet long, sits at an angle of 11 degrees, and has a takeoff height of 16 feet. But what speed do we need to drive up it at to break the record? Time for an expert opinion from our mathematician. So, Mark, I guess adding a caravan makes things a little bit more complicated.
Yes, it makes them a lot more complicated. When the air travels past the car with the caravan behind it, it's going to leave a large turbulent wake. And to quantify that drag, we really need to solve the full equations of fluid motion using a large computer simulation.
Which we haven't quite got time for today, so can you give us a rough guide as to what speed we'll need?
Yes, we can get a rough guide by solving the previous equation and just estimating the air resistance. And by doing that, I'd say that to be sure of breaking the record, we probably need to be doing about 85 miles an hour.
85 miles an hour. Nobody thought it would have to be that fast. What's more, there's now a strong crosswind to contend with, so the landing pad has been extended. It's now over 100 feet long and 32 feet wide. Plus, it's fortunate we have an experienced driver to help us break the record. No, not me, but stuntman Derek Lee.
Hello, Tiff.
Derek, hi. You've done all sorts of stuff for Bond films, Mission Impossible, but you've never done anything quite like this before.
No, this is a little bit new to me. I've crashed cars, been set on fire. I've done one little ramp to ramp, but nothing on this scale.
So how do you feel right now?
I've been through this about 1,000 times in my mind, and I always knew that the time had come when I'm standing on the runway ready to go, so push comes to shove, as they say.
But our mathematician, although he can't work it out precisely because this caravan is a very unpredictable thing, thinks you're going to have to do about 85 miles an hour to make the record.
I know. I wasn't expecting to have to do that sort of speed, to tell you the truth. I might meet him halfway and do 80 because we did a couple of speed tests yesterday and it was struggling at 85. And I need the precision. That's the most important thing as I go off the ramp.
When you hit that ramp, it's going to take speed out of the car as you hit the ramp as well.
I'm quietly confident.
But then you cover yourself with all sorts of neck braces, knee supports and...
crash helmet, elbows, box to protect the
bits.
The most essential
And what are you going to do when it takes off? You shut your eyes or what?
I'm going to try and enjoy the ride. But I might shut my eyes.
Do you take your hands off the steering wheel?
Yeah, I'll take my hands off the shield, just brace up. Because once she's airborne, there's nothing I can do, really. So I just brace myself and I try and keep an eye out for that little line we've got on the cars, which is the record.
Looks a long way away from here.
And it does.
So I'll leave you to get prepared.
Good luck. Thank you. Cheers.
While Derek psyched himself up, it was time for those ever-crucial last-minute preparations. Ambulances, fire crews, and an official judge from Guinness World Records all moved into their positions. With everyone ready, it was time for Derek to perform 2 high-speed practice runs. Once in line, there was no going back.
Ready to go. Okay, Derek, we're ready down here, so in your own time, action, this is a take.
Are you all right, Dale? Well done. Well done. Cleared it easy. Derek. Well done.
That was absolutely mental.
It flew beautifully in the air.
I knew it was on the right flight line.
Look, you're a world record holder, boy. You're a world record holder. We've
Cheers.
beaten the Aussies at rugby, now we've beaten them at car jumping as well. Yeah, how was the impact?
Oh, it was soft. The adrenaline was going so much, I ripped the gear knob off in my hand. And I thought, do I abort? No, sorry, it's too late now. I ain't going to do that again.
Did you expect the forward roll, or was that a bit of a shock?
I knew, because I had the right flight line, I couldn't see. I thought, oh, when am I going to land and where am I going to land? And then it just all...
Oh, you couldn't see anything in the air?
No, I was like that.
So we've broken the world record, but by how much? Guinness World Records stipulate that it's where the front wheels of the car land. And after a careful measurement, they calculated that we'd landed 30 feet and 2 inches further on.
Right, that makes it 187 foot, 8 inches. Congratulations.
Thank you. I was
certainly
talking
is
to
a
been prepared.
Yeah.
You did it all just for that, to hang on your wall.
Oh, that's superb.
I think that's what you call an understatement.
You join me here in Surrey. We're on our own ultimate mini adventure. It's the Mini World Show, a 45th birthday party for the Mini, and they're celebrating in a thoroughly British fashion.
The little car's appeal is massive. People from all walks of life give up their weekends to turn a visit to a car park into a nice day out. But could the ultimate Mini really be lurking around here? Well, you can be sure the Mini's personality will always shine through. Although modifying the new Mini is the growth scene, we're most interested in the classics, like Dom Westall's replica of the wicker-look car Peter Sellers owned and Inspector Clouseau drove. But the ultimate Mini needs more than a celeb connection and a hidden TV. So could Kevin Palmer's home-hacked 1980 Mayfair be a candidate? He's shortened it by 4 feet, and thanks to nitrous oxide, he can pull wheelies.
What's it like at full chat on nitrous, steaming along in a shortened Mini?
I would fully recommend steel underpants.
I mean, where do you use this car?
I'm really, really lucky because I've got a testing ground alongside me called Blue Water Park.
What, that shopping centre with all women and children everywhere?
Yeah.
That famous proving ground?
And they've got 2 lanes, and you need 2 lanes when you hit the nitrous.
Well, of course you do, yeah.
So I tried it out actually Sunday, just gone, and the way it went, it just took off.
And what happened to the needle? Whereabouts did it go?
Off the speedo.
You've just admitted to a very serious driving crime on television.
It could be that the speedo's out. It could be out of calibration, but it did go off the end. Maybe it's a rev counter instead.
Yeah, right. Our search for the ultimate Mini takes us from the short to something a little longer. Mini pickups are becoming quite rare and collectible, but Joe Glass's is unique thanks to rear hinge doors and hydraulic suspension.
How much did it cost?
Well, you could buy every model of Porsche for what it costs to build. You can buy a 924, a 944, a 911, a 968, a Boxster, and tax and insure them all for what this cost.
So tens of thousands of pounds?
Yeah.
Are you a stockbroker?
No, I'm an electrician. You could actually get a system like this fitted for your car for about £2,000 upwards, but it wouldn't move as fast as this. It'd just make you go up and down. Mine does everything.
Does it do this when you're going along?
It does if there's no policeman about.
Does that attract members of the opposite sex?
Well, if this car was actually a person, it'd be Hugh Hefner. I mean, it'd have a better sex life than I've ever had.
That good?
It's that good.
You know what? The huge effort people go to make their Mini unique is equalled by just one thing: the universal affection we give them in return.
There's no doubt about it, all this would have brought a tear to Isagonis's eye. But I've just heard that the Ultimate Mini hasn't actually made it down to Surrey. It's in Huddersfield.
The recipe is simple. Rip out the back and fill it with the 1300cc engine from a Suzuki Hayabusa. Then turbocharge it and get a chain to drive the rear wheels.
The result? 400 horsepower, like a Ferrari 360. 0 to 60, 3.4 seconds, like a McLaren F1.
Driving it is intense. It cost £25,000 to build, but in truth, it's still a work in progress. So it may be the fastest Mini in the world, but it's not quite the ultimate yet. The search continues.
And the trail has brought us to Mansell Lacey near Hereford. It's playing host to that very British phenomenon, entry-level motorsport.
This is auto testing, an extreme test of a person's skill at the wheel. Basically, the idea is to go left and right, in and out, round and round, as quickly as is humanly possible.
This is the first round of the British Championship. It's where Colin McRae started out, but it's a sport for any age, sex or ability. We're here to see 22-year-old Paul Swift. His dad is precision driver Russ Swift, and I reckon his weapon of choice is the most manoeuvrable Mini in the world, and it gets my vote for being the ultimate. It was the car his mum learnt to drive in, and the car his dad won the Autotest Championship with 20 years ago. Paul has subsequently turned it from an £800 banger into a £6,000 special. There's no roof or boot, because the key to flickability is lightness.
All of them heavy pieces of the car we try and replace with lighter components. The front end now is carbon fibre, and we've drilled a lot of holes without weakening it too much, just to get as much weight out of the car as possible.
What have you actually done to the engine?
It's been specially built for low down torque. Top end speed isn't that important in auto testing, so you want to get from point to point as fast as you can. So it's a bigger bore engine, and it's all about grunt. And the gearbox is basically a 2-speed box, first, second, and then you've got the reverse gear as well, so you don't hit fourth instead of reverse.
Honing the car to perfection isn't the be-all and end-all, though. The best drivers make their motor flow like water. You need absolutely exquisite control and a precise idea of exactly where you're going.
I've got here a map of the course, but just look at it. It's absolutely mind-boggling. You'll see some of the drivers getting on the start line, shutting their eyes and visualising their way around all the twists and turns. Thing is, one would be bad enough. Today, they have 5 to remember. It's an amazing feat of mental acuity.
So, obviously, I had to rise to the challenge. It couldn't be that hard.
Not reverse! Oh, that's for pride and joy. Backwards! 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 Oh no, he's got a penalty. 5. Might need a bit more practice, I think. Potential.
Obviously, I wasn't going to be vying with Paul for first place just yet. That job was left to British champ Dave Mosey, who also drives a Mini Special. His fluid style was a joy to behold and was really setting the pace. What's more, he managed to complete all of his runs before the torrential rain came. Frankly, with one run left to do, Paul had no chance. But then he did a funny thing. Rather than just visualising the route, he actually ran round it. It came down to one man and his machine. You could have cut the tension with a knife. Paul really pulled out all the stops, and amazingly, despite the horrendous conditions, he was actually 2 seconds quicker in the wet than in the dry. His secrets? Well, overinflated tyres make the car easier to chuck, and by locking the wheels under braking, you can go quickly from first to reverse without stripping any gears. Unbelievably, Paul won! Hooray! But join us later, when we might have found an even more ultimate Mini. Time for some quick news about the brand new Land Rover Discovery. It's the third version of the best-selling big 4x4 and will be in the shops later this year. Although Land Rover are playing up its premium feel, what we like is the no-nonsense approach they've taken. There's been no arty-farty designing going on here, just a chiselled, muscular look with every feature existing for a practical purpose. See that wonky boot line? Well, that lower section is easier to reach over and means you don't need to open the whole tailgate. Notice how there's only one air intake on one side? That's because it only needs one. To hell with symmetry! Inside, the new Disco looks even more spacious than the old one. That's because it is. They reckon it'll swallow 7 adults, and because the middle and back rows of seats are elevated, like in a cinema, everyone will get a nice view. The new terrain response system promises to make even scaredy cats look like jungle trekking heroes. A simple dial tailors the car's systems to the type of ground you're on, looking after ride height, engine torque, hill descent control, traction control and transmission. Hurrah! An end to Anorak's endlessly debating diff lock settings, at last!
It's the final leg of our hunt for the ultimate Mini, and if you ask me, the answer's obvious.
Here we go!
Top 5 Minis: Minestrone, Mini Mouse, Mini Eggs, Mini Skirt, Mini Cooper. Nothing beats those original cars created by John Cooper, and it's the 40th anniversary of Paddy Hopkirk conquering bonnet-high snowdrifts to win the Monte Carlo Rally in a Cooper S. But if you think that sort of credibility should be consigned to the history books, then this man may change your mind.
Hello, Fifth Gear. Welcome to my crib.
Brandon Wang is one of the most eminent car collectors in the world. He's indulged his passion with a multi-million-pound set of cars. The rarer, the better. And in this stable of prancing horses is an ex-Paddy Hopkirk Mini Cooper S. Surely the ultimate Mini.
To me, they are, even in today's standard, a fantastic driving car, both on the track and on the road. And my everyday car in London is a Mini. I had always wanted to do the Monte Carlo Rally, the historic one, of course, you know, because we read about the real one in the 60s, how the Mini slaughtered all the big 911s and so forth. So about 2 years ago, when I learned about they were running the Monte Carlo Rally, so I would say maybe I should find a little Mini to do it, and brought it to Monte Carlo, did the rally, and had a great time with it. And everything worked, which is amazing. Everything, all the switches, all the gauges, everything works in this car with a co-pilot. And I have to scream and yell at him, don't touch that, don't touch that, we're not there yet. You know, I had a co-pilot who like the fiddle with all those switches. When you think of Mini, you think about 5,000, 7,000 pounds, and the good ones are maybe 10. This is a lot more. I think you got to times that 10 by 5-6 times to get to it. But it is a very special car. I mean, I have no problem, you know, buying a car like that. It's just, you know, one-off that you probably had one chance in your lifetime to buy something like that.